Hey YouTubers, how's everybody doing? My name is JC. I want to welcome you to my channel. This is the Cuban Redneck DIY channel. If by any chance you landed here looking for a DIY project, please note that those videos come out on Fridays. And if you click right there on the logo on the channel, you will find multiple playlists dedicated to that subject. If you're looking for a recipe, you are at the right place. But also know that those videos come out on Tuesdays, and there's also a dedicated playlist on the channel. All newcomers, thank you for stopping by, and please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. This is YouTube land, and quality of content is irrelevant. All it matters is how many shares, how many likes, and how many subscribers you have. With that said, let's talk about today's video, which is the official dessert of Florida, that being the key lime pie. And it comes to you as a request from a subscriber. And let me give credit where credit is due. So actually, Steven called me out. He says, you say you're from the Florida Keys, but how come you haven't made a key lime pie? Well, that is true, and we're going to address that today. Also, I have a couple other requests to acknowledge. Barbara was asking for ropa vieja. She also asked for tres leche. And I have one here that was about 10 days ago from Mario. I did get your message, Mario. And Mario was asking about hígado a la italiana. So if you translate that from Spanish to English, it means Italian style liver. However, I have a lot of Italian cuisine books and it's nowhere to be found. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research. I know a lot of people don't like the history and the long intros, but I think it's imperative. Now, two things. Number one is I can make any of those dishes on demand. You know, if I was working at a restaurant, you give me a ticket, I will go and make it. However, me making it out of pure instinct, because I made it 100 times, and me giving you specific instructions of 1 teaspoon of this, 2 teaspoons of that, this much cook time, is a complete different thing. So I normally would make a recipe at least once and take notes and cooking time and everything else before I put it out, because I want you to be able to replicate what I'm getting. So the second part of that is the history. Now, if you're Cuban and you're in your mid-50s like me, probably most of my videos are going to be a refresher or something like that. But if you are one of the millions who runs through MIA on a daily basis, and perhaps you're waiting on your flight, you walk down to the carreta and you had, whether it's vaca frita, con gris, ropa vieja, whatever it was, and say, hey, I like this, how do you make this? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to YouTube, how do you make vaca frita? So I think for those folks, it is important to give kind of a broader scope of what the dish is about, what the history is about, and just to make sure that they understand what the authenticity it is of the dish. Now, I go out of my way to make my recipes and my videos as authentic as possible. However, we're living in a modern society, and sometimes you have to adapt, and you have to, some things, for example, sour oranges. Outside of Florida, they're very difficult to get a hold of. And although, by the way, know that Goya is now making it in a bottle. So, besides that, even key limes, I think that it might be difficult for somebody in New England to find them. So, especially one that are grown in Florida. You may find them grown in Dominican Republic or Mexico, which is the #1 exporter of key limes, or limes in general, but it is not something you find. So I like to give people alternatives, modern alternatives, to try to achieve as close as you can to the recipe. Today's recipe, it's not an original recipe. This is how I learned to make key lime pie while living in the Florida Keys. I learned from my neighbors, I don't know, probably 2 decades ago. One thing unique about it, it is not the same way that you make key lime pie, or the way you find key lime pie in the Keys or commercially. That is a little bit more buttery, a little bit more creamy. In the middle keys, and when I say the middle keys, I'm talking about, I don't know, Tavernier to Marathon. More often than not, when you go to a party or go to a restaurant, they're going to serve you a key lime pie that is frozen, like an ice cream. It has enough fat to where you can spoon it like ice cream. However, if you go down south to Key West, it's more common to find it at refrigerated temperature, a softer pie, rather than what you'll find in the middle key. So there's a little bit of difference. So check this out. Unlike other pies, Key West style key lime pies are quite flexible and extremely hard to screw up. The ingredients for my recipe consist of 2 14-ounce cans of sweet condensed milk, 8 egg yolks, and 1 cup of key lime juice concentrate. For the crust, you'll need 3/4 of a stick of butter, a half a cup of brown sugar, 7-ounce pack of Maria cookies, and 1 9-inch by 2 inches tall pie mold. With that said, I want to make some clarifications. Number 1, if you have a regular 8-inch mold or you're using a pre-made crust, you need to cut the milk and the eggs in half. In other words, 1 14-ounce can of sweet condensed milk and 4 egg yolks. Something else I want to clarify are the cookies. The norm for a key lime pie are graham cracker crumbs. I'm using Maria cookies, and that is a personal preference. Maria cookies will give you a crunchy crust similar to granola bar, allowing you to eat your key lime pie slice with your hand. With that said, be aware that some people don't like it while others love it. This is truly a personal preference, and also know that in the past, I have also used vanilla waffles and even vanilla sugar cookies with excellent results. In regards to the key lime juice, I think it goes without saying that fresh key limes are the way to go, but only if they are firm and they have a rich green color. If they look yellowish or have a gift when you squeeze them, that means they have been picked for a while and started to ripen, compromising the tartness. In this case, in my opinion, a good quality concentrate is a better choice. Nevertheless, always be mindful of the best buy date, because tartness of concentrates is also impacted by age. So let's get started. Unless you're using a pre-made crust for your key lime pie, the crust is the first thing we need to address. That is because we need to bake it and allow it to cool before we can move forward. Nevertheless, know that from start to finish, it doesn't take more than 40 to 45 minutes to make a key lime pie, even if you are making the crust. The first thing we need to do is melt about 3/4 of a stick, or roughly 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We then need to crush whatever type of cookie or crackers you are using into a fine dust. As I mentioned before, I'm using Maria cookies, and that is a personal preference, but if this is your first key lime pie, I strongly suggest you use graham crackers. Once all the big pieces are broken down, add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar and mix it for another minute or so. Deposit your crumb mix into the mold, add the melted butter, mix it well, and with a combination of a cup and a spatula, form it into a consistent thickness. As you can see here, my crust is a little bit too thick. About half as thick is better. That means that 5 to 6 ounces of cookies are more than enough for this particular mold, but this is my first time using it. Once you are satisfied with the shape of the crust, we'll need to bake it on a preheated 350-degree oven for 10 minutes. After the crust baking time has expired, let it rest and cool down while we prepare the filling. To do that, we'll start by separating 8 eggs. This amount of eggs is always a great debate, and I'm well aware there are other recipes using as little as 2. But if you like your key lime pie frozen, the extra egg is needed to keep it from freezing like ice. After all the eggs are separated, whip them until they turn one solid color. Then add your 2 cans of condensed milk, and whip that for another 2 to 3 minutes before adding the key lime juice. The amount of juice is something else debatable. If you are using freshly squeezed key lime juice, about 3/4 of a cup to a cup is usually sufficient. However, if you are using concentrate, 1 cup and as much as a cup and a half is desired. By now, 5 to 6 minutes have elapsed and our pie crust should be cool to the touch. If so, go ahead and deposit our mixture into the mold and place it in a preheated 325-degree oven for 20 minutes. After the time has expired, take it out and let it cool down at room temperature before placing it in the freezer. After about 3 hours in the freezer, this is what we got. There's a lot of room on this key lime pie recipe for experimentation, and I'm intrigued to find out what is your preferred amount of eggs and lemon juice. Please leave me a comment, and I hope to see you on my next video. Please support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thank you.